This next part of the building a book process is in some ways the easiest and in some ways the most fun, but it's also the one that I'm constantly obsessing about, worrying that I'm going to get wrong and just ruin any chances this book has of any kind of success. So no pressure. Hey team, happy Monday and welcome back to Building a Book, a 12-week series all about my process of self-publishing my next release. This is week 6 and we're going to be talking all about the marketing I'm planning for when the book first comes out, which is only 4 weeks from now. I want to have a really strong release and a launch that's going to carry this book through the Amazon charts after some of that initial buzz kind of dies down, assuming I'm able to create any initial buzz. For my past releases, I tended to do things a little bit differently, so this is going to be a fairly new experience for me, but basically there are 2 main parts to my launch marketing plan, and all of them have to do with ads and promotions. We did talk about this a little bit last week, how I will be setting Into the Void for 99 cents, and then I'll be setting up a bunch of promotions for the first week or 2, kind of promoting the fact that the book is going to be 99 cents for such a short period of time, hoping to draw people into the series and then kind of get the book up the ranks in the Amazon charts, which will get other eyes on it and be discovered by other readers who are just looking for books that they think they might enjoy, and then kind of finding Into the Void from there, which will make it easier to find in the future from other readers once it's back to regular price. And yeah, it's a whole thing that I could talk about for a really long time, but basically you want to have a gradual increase in sales from launch day to whenever you're going to go back to full price, hoping that Amazon kind of latches onto your success there and realizes that they can continue to promote your book. So I've booked promotions through a bunch of different websites that I've worked with before, like Bargain Booksy and Book Rebel and a bunch of other ones that I'm sure I'm not going to be able to think of off the top of my head, but there are a lot of options here and some of them do perform better than others. There's also a huge range in prices from like $10 to about $60, so I am investing some money in this and really hoping it pays off. I'm not expecting an immediate return on investment. I don't think I'm going to make as much in sales as I'm going to spend on all of these advertisements, but hopefully this does get me some visibility and the book continues to sell after the fact, but that is going to be a question for another day once it is all said and done. The other main thing I'm going to be doing is running advertisements both through Facebook and through AMS, which is Amazon's kind of promotional book platform. There's no way I can explain to you guys how to do either of these things well because I am still so far from an expert, although it's something I hope to get a little bit better at. But I will leave links to a couple of books down in the description that can help explain the process more thoroughly than I ever could. If that is something you're interested in, I absolutely recommend reading these 2 books, which will give you a pretty strong platform to jump in and start testing your own ads. But it is kind of a tricky process and you can sink a lot of money into it without getting anything back, which is something I'm really hoping to try to avoid. But again, that is something I'm going to have to learn about once the book is actually out there and I can point readers toward it. Some authors do try to do these advertisements for pre-orders, but that's not really something I'm going to try to do. I want to be able to hook that reader when they can jump in and start reading the book right away, and then hopefully go on and pre-order the next book and so on and so forth. So for right now, it's going to cost me more than it might be worth in order to try to spend money on advertisements to get pre-orders, but I may change my mind a little bit closer to the release, we'll see. So I will leave this here. If you have any questions about any of this, there is so much information, but I will do my best to answer them if you leave those in the comments, or at least point you towards people who know far more than I ever will. I suspect I'll be able to give you guys more information on all of this once the book is actually out in the world. I am planning to do a couple of post-release videos when these advertisements are actually happening, and I can kind of explain to you if they're working or not, why I think they're working or not, and we'll just see if we can learn about all of this together. So that's it for me today, but happy reading, happy writing, and I'll see you next time.